Hi, I'm homosexual Brian Safi.
And I'm feminasty Erin Gibson. And this is Attitudes.
LGBT plus issues.
Gender issues.
Pop culture.
Oh, God. I could eat 17 croissants if I weren't so busy.
Can you handle it? Isn't that the worst? When your schedule is just chock-a-block and you can't go to the bakery and clean them out.
We have an argument at work about what the best bakery is in Vancouver.
Okay, and?
I guess it's this place called Purebred, which I've yet to go to.
Purebred?
Yeah.
I don't love...
Chime in the comments.
I don't love that. I get that it's BREAD, but I don't love it. I don't like the expression purebred. Because I think of like purebred dogs who sometimes get sick. No offense, giving a dog a home is the best thing you can do, whether it's a rescue or purebred. But the other reason I don't like it is because it sounds classist.
Like
and
colonialism?
And I just came from Austria, so it sounds like the inbred Habsburg dynasty, to be honest with you. That's what it sounds like.
Yes, I agree. And, you know, Canada, you'll be shocked to know, can be quite white. So
I'm not shocked.
You gotta check them sometimes. You got to be like, another thing? And I want to hear all about your trip.
You know, a lot of Canada borders the United States.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's one good thing. Or bad. It depends on which country you ask.
I mean, there's Canada's not for sale signs all over Vancouver. So
yeah, why not?
TBD. I think it's funny for a place like Vancouver.
So hard.
I know, I can see it. I can feel it.
Yeah.
And I think the best kind of laughter is the kind you can see and feel, but not hear.
But not here.
Yes.
Nothing's more soothing than watching someone who looks like they should be laughing, making the same face.
Yes.
As laughter, but actually not laughing.
It's a surprised Muppet look.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So soothing.
There's way too many people here with New York and LA hats on. Way too many.
I gotta say, people love representing New York. They love it.
And by the way, I'm sure you saw them all over Europe. I see them on my British shows.
I didn't see LA, but I saw New York for sure.
The New York hats, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, up here, it's like people are actively with like shirts that say boycott American products with a New York or LA hat on. So
I mean,
make it make sense.
Yeah. I can't.
Make it. Okay, tell me about Austria.
Sense. What can I even tell you? It was fine.
Did you have any international house of coffees? Any of the Jean-Luc?
Did I mean Jean-Luc? I didn't. I did have some international coffees, though. I did. I mean, I do every day. I think that most of the coffee I drink comes from South America or Africa.
Yes.
So, or sometimes even, an Arabic country. So
it ain't coming from Tennessee.
Okay. Thank you. So I continued my international coffee traditions that I, sort of experience here in the United States. And yes, I also did them in other countries. I love Europe because when you ask for ice, they look at you like you're crazy. And then they give you one ice cube. And when you ask for another, you might as well be holding that place up with a gun because they look at you like, if you're going to make me do this, I will give you another ice cube. But truly, you're crazy.
Aren't they onto something with like, you shouldn't drink stuff that's like super cold?
They're onto everything over there. Okay. But then they're off of everything too. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be rude, but do you want to live in places that don't have dryers?
No. And by the way, I do not. And that is most of Europe, right?
Yes.
And it's not warm there.
Do you want to live in places that don't have AC?
No.
I respect the fact that part of the reason they don't have AC is because they're like, those window units will make these very old, stunning buildings absolutely hideous. Like,
didn't stop Sally Jesse Raphael.
Let's not tell forget. Me, did she have AC? Oh, yeah, that's right.
She had window units all over that place.
She had a window unit. You're right. It didn't stop SJR. But I'll tell you this. Of course, I had a wonderful time. It didn't, listen, the most we can hope for is it didn't end in a murder-suicide. And it once again didn't. Because when I travel with my parents, I couldn't tell you who would start that ball rolling or who would finish it.
And who asked what was the dumbest question asked? Because did you do tours?
We did tours.
And either by your family or other families?
Well, we do like tours just our family. It was just the three of us. And then a tour guide.
Okay.
I loved them all. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to Monica. Shout out to Diana. And also, I'll be honest, shout out to the other Eva. And shout out to Inga. And shout out to Vlad.
Wow,
and Dagmar. Honey, Dagmar.
Do you know I grew up with someone named Dagmar.
Well, she was not to be fucked with.
No. This Dagmar also wasn't.
Yeah, she was not to be. I mean, she was.
Was Dagmar not having it from Mother Safi?
Well, she got really upset if someone knew something first. Like, then she would start talking over you. You know what I mean? Like, well, and also, you know, she didn't want anyone to fuck with her routine.
Yeah, very Dagmar.
Because one time we were driving somewhere and the guy who was driving us, Vlad, who was so nice, was like, oh, actually, that's where they, and she goes, that's where they, I mean, she would go nuts. Yeah. And I'll say this. It is, I will say this. I'm going to say it. It is quite shocking how, because really the only melting pot cities really in Europe, really, are London and Paris.
Yes.
That's really it. So the way you hear people talk about other people that in a way that they don't think is racist, but would absolutely not fly in at least the people I hang out with.
Yes.
It's so shocking.
Yes.
And they don't think they're saying anything wrong. And
no, it's full 90s.
It is.
Regular
like,
conversation.
All of that is like the
as
90s.
if we've learned nothing.
Now, don't get me wrong. Everywhere we went was so beautiful, and I loved so much of what we did, and I made friends, which was crazy.
What does that mean?
Well, like,
explain what you think making friends is, because I think it's a different definition from other people.
Well, I still text with Ava, our tour guide in Prague.
Mm.
We still, in fact, she just WhatsApped me.
And then, at what point are you going to show her the real Bryan where you don't respond?
No, I showed her. So this was sent 2 days ago.
That's good. That's good. Okay.
I haven't written back.
No, you should start now training her that the responses are going to be few and far between at a certain point. And that doesn't mean that your friendship has changed. Just means it's like the representative
I'm writing her back right now.
The representative has left the building.
I love these pics. Wish I were there. This is what I'm going to say.
If you want to send these new people to me and I can give them like a
primer.
Yeah. Just what to expect.
Yeah.
What to expect when expecting ... Bryan Safi to respond.
Do you want to know why? Because when I saw them every day, I was very social with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I really did not give them a true interpretation of what happens at night.
No, charm offensive.
It was a charm offensive.
You did Mr. Charming.
But I got to say, But
Mr. Charming gets very burnt out at about 7 p.m. Mr. Charming has to start really protecting his energy.
This jet lag has turned me into a fucked up hag. Do you understand? I feel crazy, Erin.
Yeah. Oh, I know. You don't feel like you exist.
I went to 8 p.m. last night, and then I went to whatever time this morning till 5 a.m.
You went to 8 p.m.
No,
the club? The club for old people, baby. We shut down at 8 o'clock.
Honey, don't I wish. No, I'm on that good old 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. sleep schedule with about 3 starts in my sleep every finish.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I think you should. There has to be a better way. Sleep pods on the plane.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, it's not a thing. I think we need sleep pods on the plane.
Well,
like
it is
actual
a thing.
places.
It's called business class.
You can't sleep in business class.
You really can't.
You can sleep in first class, maybe.
Right.
But I've only slept on a plane once, and it was when you and I were doing our TV show, and they had to, vis-a-vis the union, fly us to New York, and we got to do Delta One. Do you remember that?
That's right, but because we didn't pay for it, the network did.
No, we never paid for it.
That's right. So we overnight. Was that a red eye? Yes, it was, because we were on Seth Meyers that fucking night. That was crazy.
And I slept. That was the only time I ever slept, because I was fully vertical.
I did notice some real hierarchy shit because we started in Czech Republic, which, by the way, I started calling Czechia because that's what's on maps now. But then when I asked them about it, they're like, no, don't ever say Czechia, say Czech Republic. And I was like, fine.
Who made it Czechia?
On world maps now, sort of like Turkey is now Turkey on maps.
Uh-huh.
Czech Republic is now Czechia. I don't know if it's like a new movement to call whatever, but the people there don't like it. Apparently.
Okay. So nobody asked the people. It was just forced upon them?
Apparently. So, because they're very proud of the fact that they're a democracy and a republic after being over Nazi rule and then over, a communist regime, the Soviet rule for so long, like they want to be a republic. That's how they want to be known. So, but I will say this, any Austrian person that I asked, like, oh, do you ever go to Prague? Do you ever go to the Czech Republic? They were always like, well, first of all, the people in Prague said, ugh. And then we went to a place called Český Krumlov and the people there too were like, you're going to Austria? Oh God, they're such snobs. Like, good luck. And then when I was in Austria, I was like, we had such a lovely time in Prague. They go, yeah, it's so pretty. And I go, do you ever go there? And they go, no, they're just into different things.
What's going on?
They're just not like why would we go there? There's a lot of
So it's very like, do you remember when we had that dinner in London and people were like, ugh, Ireland? And I was like, you guys got it all fucking wrong.
You guys truly.
You got it all wrong. You think they have better food there than you guys do. Did you know this?
Not to mention, they've been so incredibly victimized. They want nothing to do with you, London. Believe you me.
Nothing. It's like New Jersey, New York shit from the 90s. Ugh, why would I go to New Jersey? I don't know, because it's fucking beautiful.
Stunning. I like.
Get over yourself.
But there's no question that the way the British treated the Irish is nothing but unconscionable. But I do like visiting both places. Now listen. Where was I? Nowhere. I am nowhere. I am nowhere. Wasn't that the name of that movie?
I am nowhere. I was nowhere. Are you talking about the River Phoenix? No, not Joaquin Phoenix movie.
My dad. No, I'm talking about the Timothy Chalamet. Eddie
Oh
movie.
God! Oh, about my
Bob
nemesis,
Dylan. Bob Dylan. Yes. By the way, my dad.
Nowhere Boy.
About A Complete Unknown. That was it. A Complete Unknown. There was a lot of conversations about A Complete Unknown.
What
a lot
was
of conversations about Joan Baez and how she related to the Little Abner cartoon.
Who made this connection?
Apparently, Lil Abner, which I have never read.
Thank you for saying his name properly.
Lil.
It's not Little Abner. It's Lil Abner.
Lil Abner was like a comic strip.
I feel like you have to go one more step for people under 30.
By the way, even under 50, I've never even seen it.
But you know what a comic strip is?
I do know what a comic strip is.
Lil Abner was a comic strip. A comic strip is...
So in this, a comic strip is like a cartoon, but it's just in print. And it has, this, and this. So Lil Abner had a character, apparently. My dad told me all about it. Called Phony Joni. And Phony Joni was like a fake counterculture hippie.
The fucking nerve.
Yep.
When
and this
it
was in the 60s. This was when Joan Baez
Bob Dylan himself stealing folk songs.
Sure.
Building his career off the backs of other people's work. But go ahead.
But they blamed Phony Joni.
Yeah.
And then the first, whatever. And then my dad's also obsessed with this new like onion-like conservative rag called the Babylon Bee. The amount of quotes I heard from the Babylon Bee. And the jokes are like, it just announced the new Pope is Trump.
Mean people aren't funny.
That's like the joke.
That's the thing. Mean people aren't funny. They never will be.
I will say this too. Fuck this new Pope, by the way. Couldn't give less of a shit. But I was very European. And then when they announced it, I got chills. I was like, this is so exciting. Like, because I was watching TV when it happened.
Wow. Look at your alliances. I got the chills, but now I don't give a fuck.
No, immediately upon landing, I was like, fuck this guy. He sounds like a straight up asshole.
Wait, tell me more about him, because all I know is that he's from Chicago and I'm seeing a lot of like the bear jokes about the Pope and that his grandparents were Creole.
Have you been reading the Babylon Bee? Sounds like it.
Well, I keep thinking it's the Sacramento Bee, my number one favorite newspaper, but then I realize that it's halfway through that it's the Babylon Bee.
That's right. What can I tell you? He's American. He worked for a long time in Peru, where he was responsible for transferring many priests to different dioceses after they had totally sexually victimized and sexually assaulted and whatever you want to call it.
The old priest shuffle?
The works on these kids.
Yeah.
He was responsible for moving people around with that. And I hear some people saying like, oh, well, he was like 22 when he did that. I don't give a fuck.
So he
wasn't 4.
If you're a 22-year-old man, you
chalk it up to just being new to the system and trying to, I don't give a fuck. Okay. That's A. B, completely. Well,
also co-signing on a system where you could very easily move to another full sect of Christianity and not have to deal with rapists.
This seems crazy. Like, I love my faith, but I don't need all this shit. And it's wrong, and they're covering it up.
I have a very easy metric by which Catholic priests can decide what the right thing to do is, and it's WWJD.
Not totally. And not to mention, like, just transferring someone like that to another diocese where you know they're going to do the same thing. Like, you are you're cuckoo.
You know they're going to do it again.
And you know they're going to do it again. A. B, very, as recently as 2012, I should say, homophobic, doesn't believe in gay marriage, thinks it's ruining society, Now, Obama said that he didn't approve of gay marriage until 2012 either. In that way, Joe Biden was really like a trailblazer in terms of top-notch politicians saying things like that. Let me put it, especially the men, I'll say. But I don't know that Obama was ever homophobic. I just think he said he evolved. And really, I think he did that in his second term because he thought he would lose his first term if he said that. So it is what it is. But this priest said it as recently as 2012.
But can I say something else, though?
Yeah.
So you're going to lose for saying the right thing?
Yeah. You know what this country is?
Kind of worth it.
Yeah. I mean, give me a break.
I lose every day because I say the right thing. I never say the wrong thing. You know what I mean? I'm constantly losing.
Because you just say the wrong thing.
I say the right thing.
Oh, you do all the time?
Every day I say the right thing. I've never once.
That's incredible.
Not in my entire existence.
Yeah.
Ever said the wrong thing. That's
Your entire 24 years on this planet. And 20 on another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did my last 2 decades on Pluto. As one wants to do, because as we know, the aging process does slow down. I know a lot of Republicans are doing like a lot of fillers and Restylane, Juvederm, Botox all over their body, whatever they can do.
By the way, they are.
Oh, the look is congratulations. Fillers and Botox is now associated with the Republican Party. So time to get the dissolvers, everybody.
I don't care if you're a man or a woman, a conservative person in Congress getting Botox and filler, you automatically look like the evil queen. Period.
Oh, absolutely.
It just somehow their conservatives' skin is different in the way that it takes that stuff.
It's like, give me the Bratz doll.
First, I mean, honestly, shame on you, Erin, because the Bratz doll don't need to dig from you.
They don't deserve it, but they unfortunately started this.
I know. All right.
Okay, well.
I think we covered it all.
What's happening on Dateline?
What isn't? You know what I mean?
Well answered.
I'll tell you right now. A Hollywood hairdresser who did Jackie Chan's hair.
Oh my God. I already love it. Which, by the way, Jackie Chan is a pretty straightforward do. I'm just saying.
Couldn't agree more.
Although I guess
there are literal quotes in this being like, I mean, he did Jackie Chan's hair. And I'm like, I wouldn't call that I wouldn't call it the Rachel.
I mean, it's not like you didn't do the fucking Meg Ryan cut.
No.
Yeah.
But I will say, Josh Mankiewicz is back looking fantastic, so sexy. And this is the story of a hairdresser to the stars. A lot of different bras thrown about in homes. The Stacey and Darcy of Toronto, and a gas station, a very sexy rendezvous at a gas station.
Oh, so this is a Canadian show. This is a Canadian episode, but the hairdresser was in LA?
Hollywood.
Okay.
Everything mostly occurred in Hollywood. But some stuff occurred. I mean, but the family was from Canada.
I see. That's a tale as old as time.
Exactly. Erin, we also have a Vault episode this week. We talk about
Blackfish.
We're keeping the fun going. We talk about Blackfish.
And how they jerk the whales off in this movie. And nobody calls it jerking off.
No. What do they even? It's so disgusting what they call it.
And then you think one of the whales' name is Tillamook, which is a cheddar brand.
That's right, but it really was till I come. Which is so funny because I tell everyone, wait till I come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You say jerk me off like till I come.
Exactly.
And they go, what?
Jerk me
and
off till I come.
Blackfish?
That's the song I wrote in honor of the whale.
And how does it go?
Jerk me off till I come. Count the splatters on my walls.
To the tune of Hold Me Close, Tiny Dancer.
Yeah, of course. Naturally.
That song does deserve better lyrics. You're right.
Yep.
And then we've got the YouTube. You can get the first act of our videos.
We've got the YouTube. Headline news.
Video episodes every week for free. You can just find us by searching Attitudes Pod right on YouTube.
That's right. You want to get into some shoes?
Yes, I do.
Erin, have you eaten any preserves recently?
Oh.
Do you call them jellies, jams, or preserves?
Well, I think there is a slight difference between all three of them.
Tell me. Even guess. I don't care.
Jam, I think, is like the really gelatinous stuff.
I feel like
that's jelly. That's jelly.
Okay, got it.
Jam and preserves might be the same. They're chunky. Yeah.
Yeah.
More the
That's
fruit.
what I would call it too.
Yeah.
Well, Erin, today I want to talk about preserves. Okay?
Okay.
Specifically, preserving queer representation. I really got to go. This isn't going to work out.
Where are you going? Because wherever you go, there you are, Bryan.
It's so true. And I've had to close all my blinds, even though they tell me to open them.
Who's they?
Well, to get over jet lag, you really want to be around as much daylight as possible. But when I came home, I did an exfoliation scrub like you cannot imagine.
Yeah.
Because I felt
just full of sand.
So disgusting.
Yes. You're bloated from being in a fucking tube where your veins are being
15 fucking hours.
No.
So, yeah. Anyway, no, I want to talk about preserving queer representation in unlikely states in the US. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I never, ever would have expected that fighting against the system, against all these horrible anti-LGBTQ laws that are being enacted or about to be enacted or all of this stuff in this terrible climate we're in. I would never have guessed that two of the cities who would have stood up the most to this kind of pressure, and I'm talking whether it's literally enacting anti-trans legislation, literally when you've seen the federal government, they're planning to rid the military of trans people within the next month. I believe, isn't it by July 1st or something, month and a half? Horrible. I mean, it really is like we are at a place. There's no doubt about it. And it's completely horrifying. But what I'm really impressed by is two cities, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Boise, Idaho. One of the truly two states that are redder than red, practically maroon in their stances. And how they are standing up and getting fucking gay as hell. And by that, I mean clever and defiant against their Republican-controlled legislatures in each of those state houses. Those legislatures in both Boise and Salt Lake City have banned traditional rainbow pride flags at schools and government buildings. Now, I've talked about this before, especially in Salt Lake City, because they've tried to get a little more creative, like painting a flag on a government building or something like that is not flying a flag, that sort of thing. But they've really gone one step further in a really exciting way. So Salt Lake City has created new flag designs, and Boise, the capital of Idaho, has made the traditional pride flag one of its official city flags because they were able to get around it by saying, this is now an official city flag. And I'm going to explain how they did that in just a second. So what happened in Utah happened just a few hours before a ban on unsanctioned flag displays took effect on Wednesday. So Boise was barely able to beat this horrible law to the punch. Salt Lake City mayor and the Boise mayor, both women, by the way, have been talking to each other and lending support in what they were going to do and how they were going to do it. Saying like, I'm there for you when your town or your city or the government really starts barking at you for doing what you've done with these flags. Like, I'm here for you. And the other one was like, back at you. And to me, I think you could have also said something nice. I mean, Back at You is a little bit like, I'll never get it. This is why Ghost to me failed as a movie.
You glow, girl.
This is why That's right. This is why Ghost to me failed as a movie. It is not romantic for someone to say I love you and then for that person to say ditto.
No. And that truly is toxic masculinity because isn't it him?
Is.
And then he dies and you're like, you could have said I love you. And that was the whole thing. Don't you recall? But that was the whole key to the whole thing. Because when she says ditto, 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 you know, she's not talking about a ditto machine, the old timey copy machine.
She's not talking
Rita
about
Mae Brown
dittos.
is talking about.
She's not. Remember how hot dittos would get if they were fresh off the press?
Ooh, they smelled like chemicals, like burning
I loved
rubber.
That smell.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
And it would get on your fingers, which is probably why I've got so many STDs now.
No, I don't. First of all, I don't know how holding a ditto.
I told my doctor, I said, I have chlamydia because I used to use ditto machines.
Right. And he said, do you?
She, sexist.
I'm so sorry.
She said, ma'am, you don't have an appointment.
Yeah.
And
I'm
going to have to call the
doctor,
authority. Yes.
And, right.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the gap. Do you want chinos or that's all I can help you with?
Yeah. Pleated front or plain front. So Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall said, my sincere intent is not to provoke or cause division. My intent is to represent our city's values and honor our dear diverse residents who make up this beautiful city and the legacy of pain and progress that they have endured. Those words, pain and progress, just those two simple words really capture it in a way that I'm surprised that any elected official could really do. But it was a beautiful thing to say. And she's right. What I think she could have said is this should not cause division, because why should it?
You know, I read this article about how people are using Bible verses to change evangelicals' minds on immigration and trans rights, which is upsetting that you have to be like, this thing you believe? May I remind you what it says? Yeah.
That's how you do it. So Idaho's flag ban, as I mentioned, Idaho's flag ban period took place April 3rd. That barred government buildings from displaying any flags except the U.S. flag, flags of military branches, and official flags for government entities. There was a separate ban that has some exemptions for school buildings. That takes effect July 1st. Supporters who wanted these bans to happen said, including in the state congresses and legislatures, said, we think this will encourage political neutrality from teachers and other government employees, that they said that flying an LGBT plus flag is a political act and is doing something without cities and towns approving it. And we're supposed to be unbiased, which to me, it's sort of like, right, but the flag isn't running for office.
But the bias comes in the ban.
Exactly. The flag is just saying like, hey, if you feel different and you see yourself in these colors, like, and also saying to other people who might not be queer, this is a totally normal thing to
do you know what's so bizarre about Canada is that, first of all, the straight men here are very far on the Kinsey scale. Like the people who I think are going to be the broiest jerks are so fucking cool. This stuff is not a big deal in countries like Canada where, I mean, listen, absolutely there's hateful people who discriminate, but by and large, it is just not a thing because they don't care.
Yeah. A council person.
I don't mean that they don't care. I mean that they're like, yeah, live your life. Are we all going to play hockey and drink beer? Then that's cool.
Yeah.
It's literally that simple.
Who the F's? You understand?
Who the fucks?
Who the fucks? Said every nun.
Nuns are filthy. Nuns are real filthy.
Oh, they have to be.
Yeah.
So Meredith Stead, who's a council member in Boise, Idaho, said removing the flag now after years of flying it proudly would not be a neutral act. It would signal a retreat from values we've long upheld and send a disheartening message to those who have found affirmation and belonging through its presence at City Hall. Yep. Totally agree. Now, Idaho Attorney General, who really doesn't want this, Raul Labrador. Honey, All I want is a dog with reading glasses sitting in front of a bunch of law books and an open Robert's Rules of Order. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
All I want, with the scales of justice behind him. Idaho Attorney General Raul Labrador totally disagreed with Meredith Stead and said, like, absolutely not. We need to add an enforcement mechanism next session. I'm so pissed about this.
Next thing you know, we'll be flying cat flags everywhere. Cats must be destroyed.
Exactly. So under the Utah law, state or local government buildings can get fined $500 a day for flying any other flag except the U.S. flag, the state flag, a city or county flag, and military flags. Also,
but I say keep this shit up. Paint the flag, wear the flag as a uniform to work.
Yep.
Wear a wig, that's the flag. Like,
yes,
find all the ways.
So last week, the mayor in Idaho, as I mentioned at the beginning of this show, retroactively made the pride flag an official city flag, which is wonderful. So now one of the Boise city flags is the pride flag, which, by the way, who wouldn't want their city flag to be a pride flag? Pride flag. It says, we accept you, we want you, and everyone's equal. That should be the tenets of every fucking town in this country. They also decided that, you know what else? And I got to tell you, this is whatever. They said, you know what else we're making an official city flag? Okay. We're also, along with the pride flag, we're making an official city flag, a flag honoring organ donors.
Don't care. Literally don't care.
Couldn't care. By the way, who isn't an organ donor? I mean, I guess some people might have religious views, so I don't mean to, maybe I'm painting myself into a bad corner here, but if you don't have strong views on it, you should just be an organ donor. Like, why not?
If you are truly religious,
we don't need a flag for them. Just be a right person.
If you're truly religious, you should be an organ donor because you need to stick with your, like, let's stick with the plot, okay? You die, soul meets body, by death cab for cutie happens.
Absolutely.
You go right up to heaven. You don't need your spleen. You don't need your liver. You don't need your eyeballs.
That's right.
Give them to somebody else.
That's right.
A body's a vessel.
Now, council members in Salt Lake City unanimously approved new designs Tuesday evening, which added the city's emblem, which is a lily, atop the LGBTQ plus pride flag.
Vaginal. No? A lily?
Oh, I just meant the flower.
Yeah, but it's very Georgia.
I still
O'Keeffe.
don't remember vaginal.
Vaginal lilies? Don't you think lilies look like vages?
Oh, they do. Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Well, I guess all flowers for that matter.
Yeah.
Peace lilies especially.
Peace lilies, I'm looking them up.
But is this like, what kind of, is it a tiger lily?
It's called, fuck, I did write it down. Let me find it. It is a Sego lily or Sego, S-E-G-O.
S-E-G-O. Ooh.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's very vagina.
Vaginal. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Very vaginal. So they decided to just plop that vagina right on top of that LGBTQ plus pride flag, which I think is exciting. Not to mention Salt Lake City also adopted a new red and blue flag for Juneteenth, which is equally cool. And I guess that would now be an official city flag. People are saying, oh, that's such a waste of time and taxpayer resources. I'm like,
so are bands.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the fact that you had to argue about this.
You know how much time has been wasted because someone created a problem that wasn't a problem? That's where the taxpayer money goes to.
And by the way, that's not the only flag where people are like, oh, fuck, how do we keep flying this flag? Because get this, Erin, this will be for you. Another city in Idaho called Bonner's Ferry.
Bonner's
30
Ferry.
miles.
Yeah.
Bonner's Ferry.
Oh, Bonner's Ferry. Is that one word?
No, two.
No.
30 miles from the Canadian border, or for you, I'll say about 50 kilometers. They have long flown in Bonner's Ferry, Idaho, Canada's flag as a sign of cross-border friendship.
Well, that's like Palm Springs too. Palm Springs is flying the Canadian flag right now.
Are they really?
Yeah, because there's a lot of Canadians who have houses down there.
I see.
And they want to be like, hey, we love you guys. We love you little snowbirds, you little pale things, you little sweet little vampire skin people. Come on out. Get your melanoma. We don't want that to stop.
No, we want to keep going with the melanoma for sure. So, what I was going to say is they because of this Utah flag ban, which by the way I covered a long time ago, when the governor was like, I'm not vetoing it, but I'm not going to sign it, which made it like whatever. Spencer Cox just weak. Anyway, they stopped flying Canada's flag in Bonner's Ferry because of all the flag restrictions now. But the law contains an exception that allows government entities to fly the flags of other countries during special occasions. So Bonner's Ferry City Council passed a resolution designating every day of the year a special occasion to commemorate friendship with Canada. So they can now fly that flag. Isn't that amazing?
This is what I am here for.
This is exactly. And this is what I'm saying. If a town like Salt Lake City or a town like Boise and two terribly conservative states can stand up like this, I don't care if they're the biggest cities in those states or the biggest cities in giant maroon states.
Well, Eric Adams has to go so that New York will start doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what's happening with All About That Bass in LA.
Meghan Trainor?
No.
Oh, Karen Bass?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, she welcomed me to LA when I got back.
With a voice recording? Or
Welcome
this?
to the Los Angeles International Airport. Both. I got
okay.
both.
Well, Brian, it's not all doom and gloom out there. The FDA, which is still operating for now.
Sure.
They have deemed vagina holders responsible enough to do their own PAPs.
Really?
And I'm not talking about paparazzis taking a picture of your vagina and then trying to sell it to the Daily Mirror. I'm talking about Pap-Smears.
I guess.
So
Exactly.
soon will be gone the days of investing hours parking, waiting in a holding pen, waiting in a paper gown, then seeing your OBGYN for 10 minutes as she shoves an extra large Q-tip into your blood tunnel so that she might tickle your insides and then send it off to a lab. And
so is
call
that
you,
all it is? It's not like, in other words, is this something you could do yourself or do you really need a doctor for this?
You don't really need a doctor for it.
Except for sending it to a lab. Yeah.
Except for the lab part. So also one thing, so I'll tell you who invented this new wand basically that can do it. But for those of you who've never experienced it, when you go get a pap smear, you get totally nude. You put on a paper gown. They use a speculum, which is usually metal. It looks like duck lips. They put it into your holes.
Wow.
They scrape the top of your cervix like a dental hygienist.
Oof.
And then they send that off to the lab. It can't be, I can't imagine if you've been in gynecological career for over 20 years that this wouldn't be like, oh God, I gotta do another one of these. Oh fuck. I mean, I can't imagine that it's not a repetitive ass,
right,
conveyor
it's probably the most
belt.
boring part of their job.
Yes. The test itself, the maneuver, the way that we do it is 80 fucking years old. Now, you know me, the only thing I think we should be doing in the past is Nonna's lasagna recipe. Am I right?
No kidding.
Not medical testing. So this is a company called Teal Health, which has developed this wand. And their goal with doing this is to get, this is from the website, to get all women and people with a cervix screened for cervical cancer. Very inclusive. I like it. The company was started by an associate professor at Stanford, a doctor, and a tech investor, Kara Egan. Maybe Kara, Kara.
Could go
TBD.
either way.
Yeah, who knows?
Personal preference.
And so this is quite energizing, I would say. I am all for these home tests. So basically what it would be is instead of, because scientists discovered that the papilloma virus, aka HPV, was the twisted fire starter of cervical cancer.
Right.
They can detect it not just in cervical cells, but also vaginal cells. So you don't need the scrapey. You can use this thing, which is a little sponge that goes in there. And
so you don't even have to use like a giant device anymore.
Well, it does look like a small cup sponge that you use to clean out your shaker.
As classic cup sponge.
Sorry, a thing that you would use to clean out your
like a
water bottle.
Brush?
Yeah. It looks like a bottle brush, but shrunk down.
I see. Okay.
And it has a little sponge on it.
Really terrible.
It's the size
Is it wiry like that?
No. Imagine the slimmest Oral-B electric toothbrush with a sponge on the end, but thinner.
But is it soft? It's soft like a sponge. It's not.
Yeah, it's soft like a sponge. Yeah.
Okay.
So you just put it in there and you tap, 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 tap. Just do a gentle little like almost like a lymphatic massage from the inside. Okay. So soft.
Wonderful.
Like having your hair gently brushed as you fall asleep, but it's on the inside.
Sounds really nice. A very different feeling than having your hair brushed in the morning by your mother on the way to school.
Yes, it's the difference is your mom angrily putting your hair in a ponytail that's too tight for 8 hours on end. So you get a headache as you experience for the first time what a headache feels like in kindergarten versus having a nice loose haircut.
Yeah.
Your mother gently using a little pick to like make sure all your at-home perm curls are separated but still together, you know?
That's nice.
It's different. Now, you put that thing all up in you, then you send it off to a lab, and then bada bing, bada boom, you get results. Now, I am all for at-home tests. This is where AI should absolutely be used to be processing these tests. You know what they shouldn't be used for? When I'm trying to find the band that did an album in 2005 that was a concept album about the Oregon Trail video game, and then AI tells me how to put a concept album together about the Oregon Trail.
Wait, so did this album actually exist?
Yes, it's Mid-Length's The Trial of Van Occupanther.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I couldn't remember it, so I was like, well, certainly the thing that has access to every piece of information in the world will know. They absolutely didn't. AI was like, oh, you love the Oregon Trail, a sadistic, upsetting cannibalist.
I have a friend who put a picture through AI trying to animate it.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came back, she was wearing 2 different shoes and on one hand had 4 fingers.
It's disturbing.
I know.
But I think if you say, hey, AI, process this thing, here's the parameters. I think it can you detect the HPV virus? AI would love to do that.
Right.
However, don't ask them about Mid-Lake's 2005 concept album. It does not know.
Don't ask them to animate you if you want to keep the same shoes on.
This also brings up another point that is totally off topic. I was trying to do a list of all the alternative albums from 2004. I was going down for a very specific thing. And I'm doing a project that has to take place in 2002 to 2004. And I need very specific indie music.
Fair enough.
And I couldn't remember some of the bands like the Doves and some other like kind of really, really niche. That's why Mid-Lake was coming up. The internet doesn't have the answer. I'm still here going, it's too late to call Bart Coleman, the person who would know.
Isn't he wonderful?
You know what I mean? We need human beings who actually care about stuff and know stuff.
Yeah.
Let's never forget that. And it's not just for this very specific project.
Like Queen Elizabeth. She's not here.
She's not here.
Yeah. She cared about some things.
She knows a lot. She's been around for a while.
She was around for a long time.
She probably cared about
a lot of different things. It's true.
There are some people who can't use this test. Anyone who's pregnant, but then also Teal listed on their website, anyone who has had treatment for precancer, and specifically 2 procedures, something called LEEP, L-E-E-P, which I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
And then says, or a cold knife cone. I looked it up. It's as hardcore as it sounds.
I'm looking it up.
Okay, literally your cervix like dangles like two little like little hound dog jowls. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And if you get cervical cancer, it like starts here and then goes up. They cut a cone out with a knife. Now, I don't know why the knife has to be cold.
I don't either, but it does have to be cold. The phrase comes up as cold knife cone.
It's upsetting that is the name of a procedure. If you are a man, which you are, and they were like, we have to do a procedure called a cold knife cone on your dick. It's not, I mean, I know it's surgical, so it's already hardcore, but like, don't you want something like,
yeah,
just make it sound medical. Don't make it sound like
a warm, I don't know.
A warm inside fix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cold knife cone. According to Dr. Alexi Wright, who works
feels like warm ice cream. That's
we're going to do a warm ice cream procedure on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That I would like.
We're going to do a beautiful, beautiful pasta fajoule on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of hot chemo?
No.
So it's a process by which you could do regular chemo if you have cancer, but hot chemo is when they make an incision where the cancer is and they put a lot of the chemo inside of you and they roll you back and forth while you're on the table for like hours. And then you don't have to go back for another chemo treatment for like 6 months. But you have to do all of that.
That sounds absolutely medieval.
I know.
Again, is this something that AI can help with?
I know.
Is this a thing that could be good for? I don't know. Cutting people open and rocking them back and forth like a goddamn fucking intro package to Days of Our Lives.
No, it sounds like if someone was sick in Hamlet, that's how they would treat it.
Yes. We rock you to sleep like a baby, but you're under anesthesia and you're full of radiation.
And you're cut open and there's chemo inside you being swished around.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
Dr. Alexi Wright, who works at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, said cervical cancer could be eradicated in our lifetime. We could get rid of it. And if we allocated the right resources to this. But the problem is that when they tested this wand, when Teal tested this wand, and by the way, I hate the word Teal. That is a terrible name for a medical company.
Is it like literally the color TEAL?
That's what color their website is. But we're running out of names is the problem. And so I don't know. I don't think you would want to call it like Tawanda, which I would love.
Yeah, obviously.
When they tested the Pap wand, I don't know what they're calling it. It's called a wand.
Mm.
And they're not calling it a bottle brush, which I think they should call it a vagina brush.
I don't know. Bottle brush.
How about tomorrow's sponge?
Cold knife cone sounds to me very close.
Tomorrow's sponge.
I like that.
Okay.
Sponge is a nice word. It's soft.
Yeah, right? Okay, when they did these trials of the wand, it didn't matter the race, educational level, income, proximity to clinics, insurance cover, didn't matter any of that. 1 in 4 women in every group was behind on this testing. So it has
got it.
It really just we need to ramp up how easy it is because honestly, I will say what would be nice is if your PAP, if women's healthcare was rolled into regular healthcare, it would be so much easier for women.
Right. Of course.
The people who identify as women. Like, it would be like, I know men go to proctologists but your doctor does that, correct?
Yeah. No, it's different. It's not like getting a Pap-Smear.
No.
It just isn't. Yeah.
Like your regular doctor puts your balls in his hands and has you cough, right?
Yeah, that's happened before.
Yeah. And do they look at your pee-pee?
Like my urine?
Or just like all around?
What do you mean? Like my penis or my pee-pee? Are you calling it penis pee-pee or are you calling urine pee-pee?
Well, okay, I guess.
No, they do like I guess they do like a.
They do a dickmas test?
They do a dickmas test. That's
okay.
right.
All right. That's what I'm saying. Your healthcare is all wrapped up in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is
agree.
Oh no, I got to go to this specialty person.
Yep. What do you need specializing in? Well, I'm a woman.
I have organs that you should know about.
It's a special condition I have. Yeah.
It is. It's like othering.
It's crazy. I agree.
And by the way, I don't know if you remember this. We had a.
Are you going to faint?
No.
Oh,
I'm just being dramatic. When we had an abortion doctor, I'm not sure if they still listen to the show, but saying that I don't remember if it was at our show or I was on an airplane telling someone what I did for the last time.
Or if it even happened.
Could have just been in my brain. But I remember someone saying, it's just how I dream. I dream of conversations with strangers.
Right. Yeah.
That if healthcare was rolled into all aspects of healthcare, you wouldn't have abortion clinic bombings because no one would bomb a clinic where there were pregnant people and children and men and old people. Okay.
It is.
The othering is part of the problem. It does seem to
be an impossible process.
Yes.
You need to really have a clear calendar for the next year to do all the things you need to do.
I know.
It's crazy.
Okay. So the one thing about this wand, and I have to applaud them, they are absolutely on the right track with wanting to do these screenings. But if the patient is getting this test, and the reason they're getting this test is because they are not close to a healthcare provider who could help them, what happens when they come back positive and there is no one around to help?
Mm-hmm.
Then you are really just in the business of identifying cancer. Period. End of story. That's it. I
say, even on my physical exam last year, my cholesterol was a little high. I could not get my doctor on the phone to talk about it.
No, I know.
To be like, should I go on something? Or like, is there something I should change? Like, it's just, you have to beg for an analysis of what the information says.
I know.
Or Google it, which is really not the safest way to go.
No, and AI does not know what it's talking about.
Yeah.
These tech companies, while I think this is a really massive step, I do want to talk about the downside, which is that is not a holistic fix. It is a one step of 4 that needs to happen in order to eradicate this problem. It's a coordinated effort issue. And, I don't know how you get clinics in places that are underserved in that way,
Mm-hmm.
In other news.
Oh.
I had to get a Canadian phone.
You did?
Yeah, and I don't know if
Did you have to do like a SIM card situation, or you just bought a new phone?
I bought a new phone. I'm on TELUS, which TBD how I'm going to feel about that. But so I got this new phone because my T-Mobile told me I could use my phone in Canada. I specifically switched to them because they were like, I was like, can I use this phone in Canada?
Isn't that a big selling point there that it's like free international data plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a place for more than 90 days. At which point the phone fucking stops. And I'm like, I am in this country for 112 days. They were like, we can't do anything about it. On June 6th, your phone's going to cut off. So I had to go get a Canadian fucking phone with a month-to-month plan. And I don't know if it was because I went to a store that only sold used iPhones in a mall that somehow had a Walmart and an Arc'teryx, which is the most expensive rain gear brand in the whole.
I was going to say, it was practically unaffordable.
It was the Coquitlam Mall. I don't understand what was happening in there. It was a stunning mall. The stores were confusing. I get this phone and I somehow got the Vancouver.
Thumbs up. Zoom likes this.
The Vancouver area code. I got the 213-212 area code of Vancouver. You cannot get this area code anymore.
What's the area code?
666.
Stop it. You don't want to tell me.
I'll tell you. It's 604 or something.
Okay.
It's not as cool as 213 or 212.
Well, 665. I mean, listen, if it's the original, it's pretty fucking cool.
It's 604. Can't get it anymore. 604, can't get it no more.
Oh, that sounds like a Mr. Gaddy's slogan. Do you remember Mr. Gaddy's Pizza?
Did they have it in Houston? Yeah. Yes, and one of them, the roof fell in during a very hellacious rain.
Fuck, now I can't remember what Mr. Gaddy's, they had a theme song once it's burned in my brain. Now I can't forget it.
How do you spell, Mr. Gaddy's theme song?
God,
okay, here we go.
So good.
Here we go.
That was literally my favorite pizza I've ever had in my life.
Let me share this with you. Okay, ready? I have it. I don't wonder if this is it though. Okay, we're going to find out.
I used to love it.
Here we go. Does this look familiar?
I don't know. Yes, this is it. 555-2222. Real hot.
Real taste is what we've got.
Yeah, this is it.
Real fresh, real fast. All those other pizzas are a thing of the past. Dial
555-2222. Get your Mr. Gaddy's pizza delivered.
You don't even have to leave your home.
Oh, this is the extended cut.
Pick up your telephone. Dial
459-2222.
Get a Mr. Gaddy's pizza delivered to you.
She must have had so much fun recording this. 22.
Why don't you jot it down? Mr. Gaddy's.
We don't have
the
to.
best pizza in town.
I wish there was a cha-cha-cha at the end, though. That's my only note.
Do you think Mr. Gaddy still exists?
Mr. Gaddy's. Nope. Sure doesn't.
Damn it.
Sure doesn't.
Too bad.
Oh, wait.
Does it? Hello?
Yes. Okay, wait. Hold on. Mr. Gaddy's reflects a year of growth and community. Commitment to expansion continues. This is January 28th of this year.
Wow.
This is from PR Newswire, which is something.
I hope they haven't changed their recipe.
It expects to open 10 new. Oh, this is what they don't call themselves a pizza restaurant.
What do they call themselves? Like a
family entertainment centers.
That sounds a little Noah's Ark to me.
It's a franchise.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Mr. Gaddy's Pizza, based in Fort Worth, Texas, first opened its doors as the Pizza Place in Stephenville, Texas in 1964. With a move to Austin in 1969, also it came a name change, which paid tribute to the wife of founder James Urey's maiden name, Gaddy. By the 1970s, the chain was experienced.
Wait, so he called himself Mr. Gaddy's? Like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It was a wife's maiden name.
Mm-hmm.
In the 70s, the chain was experiencing dramatic growth, having introduced the idea of high-quality dining. No, I don't. And gaming combined in a single location. Mr. Gaddy's has become a household name in the markets it serves. 234 restaurants in Texas and the southeastern U.S.
Good for them. I'm happy to hear it.
And they're available in most Walmarts.
Terrific. I'll see you there. And then I'll go to Arc'teryx. We've got some Patreon comments. If you don't know the truth, go to patreon.com/attitude.
It works.
It did. Jesse Walker says, oh, and this is from our Vault episode we released it, where we did a live show at Chop Suey in Seattle, our first Seattle show. Jesse says, I miss when they used to tour. I still have photos with Bryan and Erin wearing their Claremont Lounge shirts in Atlanta. Do they go to strip clubs at every tour date? I'll take my answer off the air.
No. And I don't even think we went to the Claremont Lounge.
We didn't. We just went to the bar part.
Yeah, that's right. We went to the bar and we had a great time.
There were women there.
Yeah.
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 Jessica R. from Best of the Vault Volume 4 we released while I was out of town said, what a bummer to listen to episodes from 10 plus years ago talking about the death rattle of conservative monsters, knowing it's only going to get worse. Pretty crazy, huh?
Yep. Well, what did we know? What do we know?
You weren't on this last Dateline. Our friend Peru Flores was here. And but Gary Walsh said about that episode, The Deadly Obsession, when I watch any type of true crime now, Bryan is in my head commenting on everything. I'm so sorry, Gary. Matt Harrison said, when they make Attitudes the motion picture directed by Robert Redford, I think Peru is a shoo-in to play Teen Bryan. I do too. Alora Honeythorn says, I was a head-to-toe velvet. Erin, I reminded Peru about how in the 90s, it was head-to-toe velvet with a vest on, long hair, turtleneck. I mean, so much fabric.
The Black Crowes realness. Yeah. It was the 60s fabric. As the 90s, which was a bad look.
Alora says I was a head-to-toe velvet with bangs in the 90s, and I'll die a head-to-toe velvet with bangs. I keep coming back to the show for representation like this. Rachmeister about our last This New Thing We're Doing. I watched this days ago and I still can't get that. A doll sung out of my... Oh, Erin, it was awful.
Is this the porn one?
It was that one wasn't a porn one. that specific video, a doll. It was a cartoon in the 80s about this boy who liked to play with dolls. And then he would go to school and everyone would go, a doll. And they would be so fucking cruel to him. And I don't even remember what the point was at the end, because even the father was disappointed in him.
It sounds like it's a cautionary tale against playing with dolls. No?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It was traumatizing, honestly. Like, anyway. Thanks again to Sergio for pulling that video.
There's a new Dateline this week. Please go to patreon.com/attitudes.
If you've ever wondered, how did Jackie Chan do that to his hair? You're gonna love it.
Who puts Jackie Chan's bangs back after he does upside down flips?
Exactly.
This person.
This Dateline is the one for you.
Johnny on the Jackie.
That had to have been the salon's name. It was something stupid like that for sure. All right, we'll see you next week.